My dear friends, sometimes, no matter how kind you are, no matter how soft your words, no matter how much good you give, the world will not clap for you. The truth is, sweetness does not guarantee sunshine, and silence does not prevent storms. But I stand here to tell you, your kindness is never wasted, even when it is not returned. My dear friends, let us sit for a moment with this truth. Niceness is not weakness. Too often in our daily lives, people confuse kindness with fragility. They believe that when you smile, when you offer your hand, when you choose gentle words instead of harsh ones, you must somehow be smaller, softer, or less capable. But niceness is not the absence of strength. It is the very evidence of it. To be kind in a world that sometimes celebrates cruelty is a mighty act of courage. To remain gentle when the world pushes you to be hard is a victory of the spirit. Think of the person who holds the door open, even when they are in a rush. That small act seems ordinary, almost invisible, yet it carries profound power. Why? Because in that simple moment, they have placed another's comfort before their own. Niceness does not shout, it whispers with consistency. Weakness crumbles under pressure, but niceness, true niceness, remains steady like a quiet stream that carves valleys out of stone. Many people believe that if you are nice, you will always be overlooked. And sometimes that is true. You may find yourself helping others, giving more than you receive, watching as others climb ladders on your back. But here is the lesson: being nice is not about being noticed. It is about being rooted. Weakness bends because it has no choice. Niceness bends because it is strong enough to bend and rise again. Imagine the tree in a storm. The rigid branch snaps, but the willow, soft and flexible, bows with the wind and then returns to its grace. That is the beauty of niceness. It is strength in a softer garment. Think of your grandmother or a teacher you once had, someone who never raised their voice but commanded respect through kindness. Their niceness was not weakness. It was a discipline, a choice. It is far easier to lash out when hurt, to return insult with insult, to meet anger with anger. Anyone can do that, but it takes a powerful heart to stay calm, to smile when misunderstood, to answer cruelty with calmness. That is strength clothed in kindness. In the workplace, you may encounter colleagues who mistake your courtesy for vulnerability. They may try to take advantage of your polite nature. They may believe you are too soft to stand up for yourself. But remember, being nice does not mean being silent. Niceness means respecting yourself enough to maintain dignity while addressing conflict. It means saying, I disagree, but I will not dishonor myself by being cruel. Strength is not always loud. Sometimes strength is the quiet refusal to be dragged into ugliness. Consider the mother who wakes each morning, tired yet devoted, preparing meals, wiping tears, holding her family together with patience. People may not see it, but her niceness is not weakness. It is endurance. It is the fuel that keeps a household alive. Or think of the nurse who works double shifts, greeting each patient with a smile even when her feet ache. She is not weak. She is carrying humanity on her shoulders. Niceness, in its truest form, is stamina. Even in friendships, niceness proves its strength. A weak person abandons you at the first sign of trouble, but a nice person stays, listens, and forgives. It is easy to walk away when offended, but it takes a strong soul to heal with grace. Niceness is the decision to invest in love rather than resentment. Weakness avoids confrontation out of fear. Niceness chooses peace out of wisdom. There will be times when people mock your gentleness. They may say, "You're too nice. You'll get hurt." And yes, sometimes niceness leads to wounds. But remember, even the strongest warrior carries scars. Your niceness is not a shield against pain. It is a declaration that you refuse to let pain turn you bitter. Weakness collapses under pain. Niceness transforms pain into compassion. Let us look at nature. The sun rises each day, giving warmth without asking payment. Some people curse the heat, some hide from its light, but still the sun rises. Is the sun weak for giving freely? No, it is powerful precisely because it shines without condition. Niceness is like that. It is a strength that keeps shining, even when others misunderstand it. Children often show us this truth best. Watch a child share their toy with another. There is no calculation, no thought of gain. Just pure generosity. That is niceness in its rawest form. And yet, a child can be firm too. They know when to say, "That's mine." Niceness does not erase strength, it balances it. In daily life, you will find that niceness creates bridges. Weakness builds walls because it is afraid. Niceness opens doors because it trusts. And in opening doors, niceness creates opportunities, new friendships, unexpected blessings, moments of peace. Weakness shuts down possibilities. Niceness multiplies them. My friends, let me remind you, niceness is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is the wisdom of knowing that cruelty may win a moment, but kindness wins a lifetime. It is the wisdom of choosing character over ego, of choosing peace over noise. To be nice is not to surrender. It is to conquer silently with dignity. So the next time someone tells you that you are too nice, smile, because what they see as weakness is, in truth, your crown. And while others may choose hardness to protect themselves, you have chosen kindness to express yourself. Weakness hides from life. Niceness embraces it fully. And that, my beloved friends, is strength. My dear friends, let us step into this truth. Some people will not see your heart, only their own shadows. You can pour love into their lives, extend your hand with sincerity, give your time, your patience, your prayers, and still they may not recognize it. Not because your kindness is invisible, but because their eyes are clouded with the weight of their own fears, insecurities, and disappointments. It is not your light that is lacking, but their ability to look beyond their own darkness. Imagine a person standing before a mirror in a dimly lit room. They cannot see clearly because the shadows are heavy around them. No matter how brightly you shine beside them, their vision is shaped by the shadows they carry within. They may misjudge you. They may doubt your intentions. They may even call your generosity weakness because they cannot see past the fog of their own pain. And here is the lesson: do not let their blindness become your burden. Think of a time when you helped someone with sincerity, perhaps a friend or colleague, and instead of gratitude, you were met with suspicion. You smiled and gave your best, but they whispered, "Why are they being so kind? What do they want?" They did not see your heart. They only saw their shadow of mistrust. If you begin to doubt yourself because of that, then you are carrying a weight that does not belong to you. Their shadow is theirs to heal. Your heart is yours to protect. Consider the story of a teacher who believes in her students. She encourages them, stays after class to guide them, lifts their confidence with words of hope. Some students flourish, seeing the heart behind her actions. But there will always be a few who will mutter, "She's too strict. She doesn't like me." They cannot see her heart. They only feel the echo of their own insecurities. Yet the teacher does not stop. She continues her work because she knows her intention is pure. That is the strength we must learn to keep shining even when misunderstood. Even in family, this truth appears. Perhaps you have tried to be there for someone, your brother, your sister, maybe even a parent. You gave your care, but all they could see was their own disappointment with life. They snapped at you, not because you did wrong, but because they were fighting shadows you could not touch. It hurts, yes, but their inability to see your heart does not make your love any less real. We must understand, when people carry shadows, they filter life through them. The one who feels unworthy will assume others are judging them. The one who has been betrayed may suspect betrayal, even in loyalty. The one who has been abandoned may see rejection in every kindness. These are not reflections of who you are. They are projections of what they carry. To live in peace, you must learn to separate their shadows from your spirit. Think of the sun again. On a cloudy day, you may look up and complain, "The sun is gone." But is it really gone? No, it is still shining with all its glory, hidden only by the clouds. In the same way, when people fail to see your heart, it does not mean your heart is absent. It means their clouds are thick, their shadows are heavy. Your light remains, even if they cannot feel its warmth. There is also wisdom in understanding that you cannot force anyone to see your heart. Love is not proven by convincing. It is proven by living. If they cannot see, no argument will make them see. Sometimes the best gift you can give is to let them wrestle with their own shadows while you continue to walk in your light. You do not need to dim yourself to enter their darkness. Stand where you are, and in time, some will find their way to your brightness. In our daily lives, we see this truth again and again. The coworker who believes your promotion was undeserved, even though you worked nights to earn it. The friend who distances themselves because they cannot believe your kindness is real. The stranger who frowns when you greet them warmly. These moments can sting, but they are not about you. They are about the shadows they carry. If you learn to see it that way, you protect your peace. It is like carrying a lantern in a dark street. Some will be grateful for the light you bring. Others will squint, shield their eyes, maybe even curse the brightness because it hurts their darkness. Do not put out your lantern. Keep walking, keep shining, because even if they cannot see your heart, someone else will. Remember also, my friends, that sometimes the one who cannot see your heart is yourself. You may carry shadows of doubt so heavy that even when you do good, you question your worth. You may look in the mirror and see only flaws. But just as others' shadows do not define you, neither do your own. You must practice looking past the darkness you carry to remember the heart that beats with goodness within you. So when people misjudge you, when they fail to recognize your intentions, breathe. Say to yourself, they are looking through their shadows. That is not my reflection. And then move forward with grace. Do not let bitterness harden your kindness. Do not let suspicion steal your peace. Do not let their blindness cause you to dim your light, because the truth is, some people will never see your heart, but others will, the right ones will, and most importantly, you will. And that is enough. My beloved friends, let us linger on this truth. Boundaries are not walls, they are doors of respect. Many people fear setting boundaries because they think it makes them unkind, selfish, or cold. But a boundary is not a barrier to love. It is a path for love to travel safely. Without boundaries, love becomes chaos. Without boundaries, kindness becomes exhaustion. A wall shuts people out, but a boundary invites people in with clarity, with order, with dignity. Think of your own home. When you close the door at night, you are not building a wall against the world. You are protecting your peace. You are keeping warmth inside and harm outside. When you invite someone through that door, they know they have entered a space of care. That is what a boundary does. It says, this is who I am, this is what I value, this is what I will accept, and this is what I cannot. It is not rejection, it is guidance. In daily life, boundaries are often misunderstood. A person says no to a request, and immediately someone calls them rude. A woman refuses to answer a midnight phone call, and they call her selfish. A man declines to lend money he cannot afford, and they say he is heartless. But none of this is true. Boundaries do not mean you love less. They mean you love wisely. For if you pour from an empty cup, you give nothing but weariness, and a weary soul cannot serve anyone fully. Think of the mother who works tirelessly for her children. If she never rests, if she never says, I need a moment to breathe, her body breaks down, her mind collapses, and soon she cannot give it all. But when she creates a boundary, setting aside time to sleep, to nourish herself, she preserves her ability to care for her family. That is not selfishness, that is wisdom. Niceness without boundaries turns into depletion. Niceness with boundaries becomes sustainable love. Imagine a friendship where one person is always giving. The driver, the helper, the listener, while the other only takes. At first, it feels fine because the giver enjoys being kind, but over time, resentment builds. The giver begins to feel used, unseen, unappreciated. Then the friendship sours. But if early on the giver said, I cannot always come to you, sometimes I need you to come to me, then balance is restored. The boundary does not end the friendship, it saves it. We see boundaries even in nature. The ocean does not cross the shore without limit. The tree does not let its roots grow into another tree's space. The seasons do not overlap without consequence. Nature respects its boundaries, and that is why it thrives. We humans must learn the same truth, to honor where we end and where another begins. Think about work. How many people feel burnout because they cannot say no to an extra task? They say yes out of fear, fear of disappointing a boss, fear of losing favor, fear of being seen as unhelpful. But slowly, the yes eats away at their health, their joy, their family time. The strongest act of kindness to oneself is sometimes to say, I cannot take this on right now. That single word, no, when spoken with grace, is a boundary that preserves both sanity and productivity. And in relationships, how many hearts are broken because boundaries were never drawn? A partner gives and gives, tolerates disrespect, forgives repeated harm because they believe love means endurance. But true love is not suffering. True love is respect. When you say, you may not speak to me that way, or I deserve honesty, you are not closing the door, you are teaching love how to live in your space. A relationship without boundaries is like a house without walls. Everything falls apart. Boundaries also teach people who you are. Without them, others will define you by what they want from you. But when you draw your lines with dignity, you are declaring, this is my truth, this is my value, this is my way of living. People who respect you will stay. People who cannot respect you will leave. And both outcomes are blessings, For one strengthens your life, and the other removes a weight from your shoulders. It is important to remember that boundaries are not punishment. They are invitations. When you set a boundary, you are saying, I want to continue walking with you, but this is the path we must take. Without boundaries, bitterness grows. With boundaries, trust grows. Because people know where they stand with you, and you know where you stand with yourself. Children, too, thrive with boundaries. A child without rules feels lost, unsafe, unanchored. But when parents set gentle limits, bedtimes, manners, responsibilities, the child flourishes. They may resist, but deep down they feel secure. Adults are no different. We may resist boundaries at first, but in truth, they give us direction, structure, and peace. So, my friends, do not be afraid to say no. Do not be afraid to draw the line. Do not be afraid to protect your spirit. For boundaries are not walls, they are doors. Doors that open to respect, doors that lead to healthier love, doors that preserve your light. When you live with boundaries, you honor yourself. And when you honor yourself, you give the world a stronger, pure, more radiant version of you. And that is not selfish. That is sacred. My friends, let us rest for a moment with this thought: life is not a trade. Your kindness is not a currency. Too many of us, knowingly or unknowingly, treat kindness like a coin. We give expecting change in return. We smile, hoping for a smile back. We help, hoping for recognition. We love, hoping for love returned. But kindness, in its purest form, is not an investment. It is not a bargain. It is the overflow of a heart that knows its own wealth. Think of a flower in a field. The flower blooms whether someone stops to admire it or not. The rose does not say, I will open my petals only if someone praises me. It simply blooms because blooming is its nature. In the same way, kindness must flow not because we are guaranteed applause, but because it is who we are. If we turn kindness into currency, we will always feel robbed. But when we let kindness be identity, we are never poor. In daily life, you may give your all to someone, and they may walk away without a thank you. That stings. You may sacrifice your time at work only for another to take the credit. That hurts. You may love someone deeply, and they may not return that love. That breaks the heart. But none of those moments mean your kindness was wasted. For kindness is never measured by what comes back. It is measured by what flows out of you. A river does not stop moving because a thirsty man refused to drink. The river keeps flowing because flowing is what a river does. Think of the parent who gives to their child. From the moment that child is born, the parent gives sleep, money, energy, prayers, dreams. The baby cannot give anything back in those early years but cries and needs. Yet the parent continues, not because the child earns it, but because giving is love. That is the truest form of kindness, love without transaction. Consider the story of a teacher who stays after class to help a struggling student. She knows she may never be remembered years later. She knows her efforts may not be repaid. Yet she continues because teaching is her calling. Or the nurse who works through the night, treating each patient with tenderness, even when not one of them says thank you. She is not counting her kindness like coins. She is simply living her purpose. That is what makes their giving noble. It is not bought, not bargained, not calculated. Sometimes, when we expect kindness to be returned, disappointment sets in. A friend forgets your birthday, though you remembered theirs. A neighbor borrows and never gives back. A coworker you helped rises in success and forgets your name. And in those moments, you may be tempted to harden your heart, to say, "Why should I keep giving if no one appreciates me?" But here is the lesson. Appreciation is lovely, but it is not the reason you give. You give because it is your truth. You love because it is your language. You shine because that is who you are. Think of the sun. Every morning it rises, pouring light upon the earth. Some people wake in gratitude, step outside and say, "What a beautiful sunrise." Others close the curtains, complain of the heat, or ignore it altogether. Yet the sun does not stop shining because of their response. It shines because shining is its purpose. So must we shine regardless of whether others notice. In relationships, this lesson is even more profound. True love says, "I give not to get, but because love is what I am." When you tie your kindness to someone else's reaction, you hand them control of your spirit. But when you anchor your kindness in your own character, no rejection, no ingratitude, no betrayal can take it away. You remain rich because your wealth is not in their pockets, but in your soul. There is also freedom in this truth. When you stop treating kindness as currency, you stop keeping score. You no longer say, "I did this for them. Why didn't they do that for me?" That kind of keeping score only breeds bitterness. Instead, you learn to give with open hands, and if nothing returns, your hands are still open, ready to give again. It is not loss, it is abundance. Think of the stranger who holds the door for someone rushing by. The stranger may never know that small act eased a heavy day. They may never hear a word of thanks, yet that simple kindness lingers in the air like perfume. You never know how far your kindness travels. Sometimes you are planting seeds in gardens you will never see. This is not to say that kindness means being foolish or allowing yourself to be drained. No, wisdom must walk beside kindness. But even when you are wise, the essence of your kindness must never be a bargain. Because bargains end when the other side refuses to pay. But identity lasts forever. So, my beloved, remember this. Your kindness is not a coin to be spent. It is not a loan to be repaid. It is not a trade to be balanced. Your kindness is your signature on the world. Whether they clap for you or not, whether they repay you or not, whether they even see you or not, still be kind. For the world cannot bankrupt a soul that gives from abundance. And when you give like that, freely, without demand, without calculation, you discover the deepest secret. The very act of giving is the reward. The very act of loving is the return. The very act of kindness fills you first. Even before it touches another, you do not need it to come back to feel full, because your fullness was already within you. That, my friends, is true wealth. My beloved, let us embrace this truth with open hearts. Even roses have thorns. We marvel at their beauty, their fragrance, their grace. Yet anyone who has reached to touch one knows that roses protect themselves. They bloom with elegance, but they guard with firmness. And so it must be with us. To be kind, to be loving, to be generous does not mean to leave yourself unguarded. To be gentle does not mean to be defenseless. You can bloom and still protect your roots. You can be soft and yet strong. In daily life, too often, people mistake kindness for permission. They see your smile as weakness, your forgiveness as an open door to be walked through again and again. But my friends, a rose without thorns will not last in the garden. It will be plucked, crushed, discarded. The thorn is not a contradiction to the rose. It is the very reason the rose survives long enough to be admired. Think of a woman who has a giving heart. She is always ready to help a neighbor, to listen to a friend, to support her family. But if she never sets a boundary, if she never says, "This is too much," people may begin to drain her, leaving her exhausted and empty. Yet when she learns to say, "I will help, but not at the cost of my peace," she becomes like the rose with thorns, still beautiful, still giving, but protected. Or imagine a man at work who is known for being helpful. His colleagues always come to him asking for assistance, and he never refuses. At first, they admire him, but slowly some begin to abuse his nature, piling tasks onto him that are not his responsibility. Without thorns, his kindness turns into exploitation. But the moment he says, "I will assist, but I will not carry what is not mine," he earns respect. His thorn is not cruelty, it is dignity. Even in relationships, this truth is vital. Love without self-respect is not love, it is surrender. A woman may forgive her partner's harsh words once, twice, but if the words continue without change, she must learn to say, "No more. I will not allow myself to be spoken to this way." That is her thorn. Not to wound, but to protect her soul. The rose does not grow thorns to harm the hand. It grows thorns to remind the hand to approach with care. Parents, too, embody this lesson. A father may love his child deeply, but that love does not mean saying yes to every demand. He knows that discipline is also love, that saying no builds character. His boundaries are his thorns, teaching his child respect, gratitude, and responsibility. If he gave endlessly without correction, his love would be misunderstood. But by balancing tenderness with firmness, he becomes both rose and thorn, gentle beauty and protective strength. Nature itself teaches us this balance. The ocean is vast and beautiful, but if you try to disrespect its boundaries, it will show its power in waves. The fire warms you when you approach with care, but it burns when you cross the line. So it is with us. Our kindness must remain paired with self-protection, or else we are consumed. Too many of us fear that showing our thorns will make us seem harsh, unloving, or cold. But thorns are not there to destroy. They are there to remind others that our beauty deserves care. Have you ever noticed how the rose does not hide its thorns? They are right there, visible, clear, it is honest. It says, "I am beautiful, but I am also to be treated with respect." Imagine if we lived this way, openly kind, openly loving, but openly clear about how we deserve to be treated. Think of the friend who is always available for everyone else. She listens to others' problems late at night. She cancels her own plans to comfort someone. She gives more than she receives. But deep down, she begins to feel unseen, unappreciated. Her petals are admired, but her heart is aching. Then one day, she chooses her thorn. She tells her friends, "I love you, but I also need time for myself." And what happens? The friends who truly value her adjust, while those who only wanted to take fall away. Her life becomes lighter, healthier, truer. This is what the thorn does. It separates what is real from what is false. Those who care will not be frightened by your boundaries. They will respect them. Those who only wish to use you will be pricked and move away. Both are blessings, for you are left surrounded only by those who see your worth. Even roses remind us that beauty alone is not enough to survive in the world. You can shine, you can blossom, but if you do not protect yourself, you will be destroyed. So, too, must we learn that being good does not mean being blind. Being kind does not mean allowing harm. Being loving does not mean tolerating disrespect. Your thorns are your strength, And let me tell you, these thorns are not ugly. They are part of the rose's beauty. In the same way, your strength, your boundaries, your self-respect are part of your beauty. They do not take away from your kindness, they complete it. Without them, your kindness cannot last. With them, your kindness endures. So the next time someone tells you, "You're too nice," remind yourself that niceness does not mean endless sacrifice. You can be soft and strong. You can be generous and guarded. You can be the rose and the thorn. And when you live like that, you will not only bloom, you will flourish. For beauty is not just in the petals. It is in the power to stand tall, to protect what matters, and to remain radiant in a world that may try to pluck you apart. Even roses have thorns. And that, my friends, is their glory. My dear friends, let us hold this thought gently but firmly in our hearts. People will test you, but life will teach you. Every person you meet, every situation you endure, every challenge that enters your path will place something before you. A choice, a lesson, a mirror. Sometimes it feels unfair, sometimes it feels exhausting, but in truth, each test is shaping you into who you are becoming. Tests are not meant to break you, they are meant to awaken you. Think of a student in a classroom. No test is given to destroy the student. A test is given to measure growth, to reveal what has been learned and what still needs attention. Life is the greatest classroom of all, and every day we are given examinations. Sometimes they come in the form of difficult people. Sometimes they arrive as disappointments, betrayals, or unexpected struggles. We may not welcome them, but they are part of the curriculum of living. Imagine, for instance, a kind soul who lends money to a friend in need. That friend promises to repay, but never does. The kind soul feels betrayed, hurt, perhaps even foolish. That is a test. But here is the teaching: generosity is not a mistake, but wisdom must walk beside it. The test reveals that kindness must be coupled with discernment. Life teaches that giving is noble, but giving blindly may lead to pain. The test is not to stop you from giving. It is to teach you how to give wisely. Think of a relationship where love is pure on one side, but not returned on the other. You may pour your heart into someone who does not value it, who ignores or even mistreats it. That is a painful test. But what does life teach? It teaches you to recognize your worth. It teaches you to see that love must flow both ways to be healthy. It teaches you not to beg for the bare minimum, but to expect respect, honesty, and care. The test was hard, but the teaching was priceless. Sometimes the tests come from strangers. Perhaps you are waiting in line and someone cuts ahead of you. Your first reaction is anger. How dare they? But then life whispers, this is a test of patience, of self-control. Will you lose your peace over a small act? Or will you hold your dignity and rise above it? The stranger may test you, but life is teaching you that not every battle is worth your energy. At work, the tests may be long hours, unfair bosses, or colleagues who take advantage. You feel stretched thin, tempted to quit, tempted to explode, yet in that moment, life is shaping resilience in you. It is showing you your capacity to endure, to adapt, to grow. Every storm at work is not just about a paycheck. It is about character, discipline, and the ability to stand tall even under pressure. The test is heavy, but the teaching is strength. Life's greatest tests often come disguised as loss. Losing a job, losing a friend, losing someone you love, these are tests that feel unbearable. But even here, life teaches. It teaches you that you can survive what you thought would break you. It teaches you the depth of your own spirit. It teaches you gratitude for what you had and courage for what is ahead. Tests bring pain, but teachings bring power. Think of the athlete who trains daily. The weights test their muscles, the running tests their lungs, the coach tests their endurance. The athlete sweats, struggles, sometimes even falls. But through those tests, they grow stronger, faster, more skilled. Without the test, there is no progress. Life works the same way. People test you with their words, their actions, their neglect, their selfishness. Situations test you with difficulty, delay, and doubt. But each test builds a muscle inside you, the muscle of wisdom, the muscle of patience, the muscle of resilience. Sometimes, the test is not about others, it is about yourself. Life puts you in situations where your own heart is revealed. Do you practice what you preach? Do you remain kind when no one is watching? Do you choose integrity even when dishonesty seems easier? These are the exams of the soul. You may stumble, you may even fail a few, but life is a generous teacher. It gives you another chance, another day, another moment to learn again. And let me remind you, just because someone tests you does not mean you must always respond. Not every insult requires an answer. Not every challenge requires your energy. Sometimes the lesson life is teaching is simply this: walk away. Protect your peace. Preserve your dignity. You are not called to fight every test. You are called to learn from them. Tests also reveal who truly belongs in your life. In easy times, everyone seems friendly, everyone seems supportive. But when tests arrive, when you are down, when you are struggling, that is when you see who stands with you and who disappears. Life teaches you that not everyone who smiles with you walks with you. And that, too, is a necessary teaching. So, my beloved friends, when people test you, when circumstances try you, do not despair. Ask instead, what is life teaching me through this? Each test is a lesson wrapped in difficulty. Each trial is a classroom disguised as pain. Each disappointment is a teacher in the cloak of loss. And remember, this life's teachings are not meant to make you bitter, but better. They are not meant to shrink you, but to stretch you. They are not meant to stop you, but to strengthen you. The tests may sting, but the teachings will shape your destiny. So the next time someone tests your patience, your kindness, your strength, smile within yourself and say, "This is not just a test. This is my lesson, and I will learn it well." For in every test, life is not against you. It is shaping you. And when you understand that, even the hardest trials become sacred teachers on your journey. My beloved, let us reflect on this truth with quiet reverence. The world may not always reward you, but the universe will remember you. Too often, we tie our worth to applause, to recognition, to the immediate gratitude of those we serve. We give our best and wait for claps, for thank yous, for medals of acknowledgement. And when they do not come, we feel invisible, forgotten, unworthy. But life is bigger than the shallow rewards of the world. The seeds you plant, the kindness you give, the love you pour out, they may not always be noticed by human eyes, but they are never lost. The universe keeps the record, and at the right time, in the right way, it blooms back into your life. Think of the farmer who rises before dawn, working the soil, planting seeds in silence. There is no crowd cheering his labor, no trophies given for his sweat. Days pass, weeks pass, with no sign of harvest. Yet, in due season, the earth remembers. The seeds awaken, the plants rise, and abundance comes. That is how the universe works. It remembers your efforts even when others overlook them. In daily life, you may find yourself working harder than anyone else, staying late at the office, carrying burdens quietly, and no one says, "Well done." It can hurt to feel unseen. But the universe is not blind. What you sow in diligence and integrity will return to you, even if not through the hands you expected. Sometimes the job you thought ignored you becomes the stepping stone for an even greater opportunity. The world may not reward you today, but the universe is preparing your tomorrow. Think of a parent. A mother sacrifices her sleep, her dreams, her comfort to raise her children. For years, the children may not even realize the depth of her giving. They may complain, misunderstand, even rebel, and the mother may feel unappreciated. But life remembers. The universe remembers. One day, in ways she cannot predict, those children will echo her sacrifices in their own lives. They will stand on her shoulders, even if they never fully say thank you. Her reward is not always in the words, but in the legacy she leaves. Consider also the teacher who pours her soul into her students. She may never hear from most of them again. Many may forget her name, but the universe remembers. Somewhere, a child she taught is making wise choices because of her lessons. Somewhere, a doctor, an artist, a leader is carrying her influence into the world. Though the world may not reward her, the universe has inscribed her impact in lives she may never meet again. Even small acts are remembered. Imagine holding the door open for someone whose hands are full. They may rush by without a word of thanks. To the world, it seems like nothing, but the universe has taken note of the kindness you planted. It may return in the form of someone helping you when you least expect it. The energy you put into the world never disappears. It circulates, it grows, it finds its way back. The challenge is patience. The world rewards quickly, with applause, with money, with attention. But those rewards fade as quickly as they come. The universe rewards slowly but deeply. Its gifts are not shallow trinkets, but enduring blessings. Peace of mind, true friendships, unexpected opportunities, inner strength, divine alignment. The universe does not forget what you have done, even if the world acts as though you are invisible. Think of history. Many great men and women lived their lives without recognition. Writers who died in poverty, whose words later changed generations. Leaders who were mocked in their time, later celebrated as visionaries. Saints who were rejected, later honored as examples of love. They did not see their reward in their lifetime, but the universe remembered. Their seeds bore fruit long after they were gone. Sometimes your kindness is for eyes that you will never see. The homeless man you feed may never meet you again, but he will carry that moment in his heart. The friend you encouraged may go on to achieve greatness, and though your name is forgotten, your voice is in their victory. The universe remembers the unseen, the uncelebrated, the quiet acts of love. We live in a world obsessed with instant recognition. Social media awards titles. These are the coins the world offers. But my dear ones, do not be fooled. True worth is not in likes or claps. True worth is in the ripple you create in the lives around you. The ripple may not come back in the same form, but it always comes back. You may not be rewarded where you planted, but you will be blessed in places you never imagined. There will be times when you feel tired of giving, tired of being kind, tired of sowing without seeing. In those moments, remember the farmer, remember the teacher, remember the mother. Remember that nothing good is ever wasted. The universe stores it like treasure, and in the fullness of time, it pours back into your life. So, when the world overlooks you, smile. When people forget to thank you, stand tall. When your efforts seem unnoticed, take heart, because you are not working for applause. You are planting for eternity. You are not investing in shallow coins. You are building wealth in spirit. The world may not always reward you, but the universe remembers every seed, every tear, every prayer, every act of love. And when the harvest comes, my friends, it will be greater than you imagined. It may not look like what you expected, but it will come as peace, as strength, as opportunities, as blessings that remind you nothing was wasted. The world may forget, but the universe remembers. And that is enough. My friends, let me tell you something. Tender yet powerful strength is not always in holding on. Sometimes the greatest strength is in letting go. We are taught from childhood to grip tightly onto people, onto things, onto dreams that may no longer serve us. We think that if we let go, we are weak. But the truth is, it takes far more courage to release than to cling. To hold on is often easy because it is familiar, but to let go requires faith, trust, and the belief that life still has more to offer beyond what we now hold in our hands. Picture a child clutching a broken toy. The toy is sharp, jagged, cutting into their small hands, but they refuse to release it because it was once their favorite. Tears stream down their face, but still they hold it tightly. An adult kneels and whispers, "Let it go, child. There is something better waiting." The child cannot see beyond the brokenness in their hand, but once they release it, their palm is free to hold something whole, something new. That, my beloved, is the story of many of us. We hold on to pain, onto broken relationships, onto regrets, simply because we cannot imagine life without them. But the moment we let go, and the universe places healing, love, and fresh beginnings into our hands. Think of relationships. Sometimes we cling to people who have long since shown us they are not walking the same road. We cling because we are afraid of being alone, afraid of change, afraid of emptiness. But holding on to someone who disrespects you, who diminishes your spirit, who no longer nurtures your soul, is like gripping that broken toy. It cuts you, it wounds you, it keeps you bleeding. Letting go is not giving up. It is choosing peace over chaos, dignity over desperation, freedom over bondage. When you release what harms you, you make space for what heals you. Consider a dream. You may have dreamed for years of a particular path, perhaps a career, a business, a vision of life. You worked hard, you invested time, but despite your efforts, doors would not open. Still, you keep pushing, keep forcing, because you fear letting go means failure. But sometimes, letting go of one dream allows you to discover the dream you were truly meant to live. Life whispers, "This is not the path for you. Trust me, there is another way." The strength lies not in forcing the closed door, but in walking toward the one that swings open with ease. Even in daily struggles, letting go brings peace. Think of anger. Someone offends you, insults you, or betrays you. The wound festers because you replay the moment again and again in your mind. You hold on to the anger as though it protects you, but really it poisons you. The strength is not in keeping the fire of bitterness burning. The strength is in letting it go, in forgiving, not for them, but for yourself. Forgiveness is not saying what they did was right. It is saying you will not let it chain your soul any longer. When you release that burden, your spirit feels light, your heart breathes again, your peace is restored. Letting go is also about trust. Trusting that when you open your hand, something greater will come. Trusting that when you leave a toxic place, a healthier space will welcome you. Trusting that when you surrender control, life itself will guide you to where you belong. It is like the tree in autumn. The leaves fall, not because the tree is weak, but because the tree knows it must let go in order to prepare for new growth in spring. The tree does not cling to its dead leaves. It trusts the cycle of life. We too must trust. Think of grief. Losing someone you love is the hardest letting go. You cannot imagine life without them. You hold their memory close, sometimes so tightly that you stop living yourself. But even here, there is strength in letting go, not of their love, but of the pain, the guilt, the constant ache. Letting go means carrying their love in your heart without being crushed by their absence. It means honoring their life by living yours fully. Strength in letting go is not only personal, it is universal. The world is heavy with grudges, with hate, with old wounds passed down through generations. But imagine if entire communities learned the strength of letting go, of revenge, of prejudice, of ancient bitterness. Imagine the healing that would flow. Wars would cease, peace would blossom, and humanity would rise. It begins with us, with one heart at a time, choosing to release instead of cling. The truth is, letting go does not mean losing. It means choosing yourself. It means opening the door for what is truly aligned with your spirit. It means releasing the weight so you can walk freely into your destiny. And it takes tremendous strength. Weakness clings, strength releases. Weakness fears the unknown, strength embraces it. Weakness begs for crumbs, strength waits for the feast. So, my dear ones, if there is something in your life cutting into your hands, something that no longer serves your spirit, I urge you, summon the courage to let it go. Do not confuse holding on with love, and do not confuse letting go with weakness. Real love, real dignity, real growth require the bravery to release. When you let go, you do not fall, you rise. You do not lose, you gain. You do not end, you begin again. For every letting go is also a letting in. Into your life will come new peace, new opportunities, new joy. Trust that the universe does not take without giving. When you release the broken, the whole arrives. When you let go of the heavy, the lightness comes. When you surrender the past, the future unfolds with grace. Strength, my friends, is not in the clenched fist, but in the open hand. It is not in the chains we carry, but in the wings we spread. And the most courageous thing you may ever do is this: let go. So, my beloved, remember this: sometimes, no matter how nice you are, the world may still bruise you, but bruises heal and character shines. Don't stop being kind. Don't stop being strong. Don't stop being you, because your value is not in how they treat you. Your value is in how you rise again and again with grace.